So I would like to send this important message on the occasion of the 60th anniversary celebrations of Central Salt and Marine Chemical Research Institute at Bhavnagar. Dr. Pushpita Ghosh has taken over after me the directorship of CSMCRI. So I am very happy to be here, since CSMCRI is an important constituent lab of CSIR, and particularly emphasizing research activities in inorganic chemicals, and in particular sodium chloride, salt, as a resource in this country. When I had to leave CSMCRI very reluctantly, because I was given the task of setting up the National Center for Ultra Fast Processes, a center for studying very fast reactions in pico and femtosecond time scale. So the condition also DST has put is that you can't run two places at the same time. So if you want the research center on fast reactions, then you have to leave the director job and go back to Chennai, where this center will be created. And that center was at our heart all the time, because there is no such facility in the country, and there are many scientists working in the photochemistry, photophysics, time resolved spectroscopy, so many areas. So and some of my former students also said, you have been there almost 6 years, can you just come here so that the center can come up? And DST also put that as an important condition, so I had to leave very reluctantly CSMCRI in '97, March, if I remember correctly. That was a very touching function, the farewell function, the launch of CSMCRI front launch. So I am just going to wish you all a very happy and good times in the coming years, to make even better progress in all your activities. CSMCRI in Bhavnagar has been doing good amount of work on different areas, not only in salt but in membrane science and also in marine resources. So as a director, when I went there, I went with an academic background. I am basically a photochemistry of coordination compounds. But then Professor Joshi, who was the DG, and Professor D.V.S. Jain, who was also I know him in University of Southern California, where he was 3 or 4 years senior to me. So they all said, you got all the recognition, Bhatnagar Award and other awards, fellowships also, and we want somebody to head this lab as a new director. It was an invitation, so I could not say no. Also, all my career, I felt that not only research is important, but also serving the country. The function where the previous director, Professor Taki Khan, also is my good friend. I know him many years because we work in similar areas. And my taking over as a directorship on the same day happened in Bhavnagar. Then, in fact, I want to tell a curious incident. It was raining here in monsoon in Chennai, and you have to catch a flight, early morning flight to Mumbai, and from there to Bhavnagar. The person who is going to take me to the airport is former CLRI director Dr. Ramasamy, who is presently Secretary of Department of Science and Technology. Anyway, finally we reached, in spite of all the rain, Bhavnagar, and it was completely new place. So Dr. G. Tyagarajan, who was also a director at that time of CLRI, who was a friend of Professor Taki Khan, they both were in Hyderabad at the same time. So they were all there. So I, just like that, I joined as a director of CSMCRI for next 5 years. The time I have taken the directorship, I was completely new to the CSIR system. But Dr. Joshi was very keen that I should get all the facilities. So many other people who helped me in the initial stages are Dr. S. Varadarajan, who was also a DG of CSIR and also secretary, and many other people. So this is how I started my term as the director of CSMCRI after Professor Taki Khan. Now, the laboratory had more or less 3 important activities broadly, all related to salt and marine sciences. Salt is was their main activity since inception of the institute, and they have done really commendable work, and a lot of technologies flowed from that institute to all the people who are involved in not only making salt but also the processes for getting chemicals from bittern, bromine, and then many other chemicals. I don't want to spend time on what are the different patents and other things, but most of the improvement in salt industry was done by the innovations carried out at CSMCRI. Now, the whole of Saurashtra coast is filled up with several factories manufacturing caustic soda from sodium chloride, that is from seawater. And throughout the Saurashtra coast, places like Porbandar, Viraval, and then most importantly the Dwarka, where Tata Chemicals have a very big facility for making not only edible salt but also several byproducts. So this is one important area. The second area is CSMCRI is the institute pioneered in membrane science and technology, particularly concentrating on making water, pure water from saline water using several technologies, and most important success they have achieved is the reverse osmosis using polysulfone membranes. This all happened when I was there. There were very good scientists in all these areas. I would mention the name of Dr. Vijay Shah, Dr. Rangarajan, Sarada Joshi, and many others. I don't remember all the names. And then electrodialysis is another area, again membrane science, Dr. Indusekar and many of his colleagues. So this is one area. When I joined CSMCRI, the deputy director was there, Dr. Iyengar, who is basically a biologist who was looking after all the marine resources, all the plants like algae and other things. And I want to tell you also that CSMCRI had 3 field stations, one in Mandapam in South India near Rameshwaram, the other one in Berhampur in Orissa, and third one in Dwarka. So all these field stations were manned by scientists of CSMCRI doing very important work. Now, without wasting much time, I would like to tell that some of the achievements during my period, which was done with a lot of cooperation and hard work of all the scientists. So, without their cooperation and then deep involvement, we could not have done this. Particularly, I would like to mention that the Director General Dr. S.K. Joshi said, the first thing you do is build a director's bungalow. Because directors didn't have a residence there, so they were all the time staying in the guest house. The guest house also is again the gift of Maharaja. It was one of those guest houses which is an old style colonial building. So CSIR was very generous in giving me all the support throughout my term there, and so the building for directors quarters was started sometime with planning and all that thing. So it was completed during my tenure. One of the other building program was in Mandapam, where the field station didn't have any building at all. So they had to cross a railway line to go to a shed, which was the field station office. In the area of salt discipline, there were very senior scientists like Dr. Hora, Dr. Sanghvi, Dr. Gandhi. All these people are working in different areas involving salt preparation, byproducts. And now one of the important activities which they started, which really culminated in bringing technology award and also a big revenue input for the institute, is the detergent grade zeolite from Britain. This technology was sold to Nalco, which is a public sector aluminum company. So I don't remember exactly the figures in terms of it's more than 1 crore, and it's a great hard work done by all these scientists and other people, which has resulted in very important transfer of technology from one of the CSIR laboratories to industry. In fact, that brought this happened just when I was leaving. Then immediately, shortly afterwards, they had started production of this by Nalco in somewhere in Orissa. So this is a very important discovery. And then the marine algae program was started in many places in Bhubaneswar, in Mandapam field station, and also in Dwarka. This marine algae is a very important resource, not only as a food product, but also several products which were obtained from that are food additives. So all these technology was developed by CSMCRI over the years, and that's the time they started to understand using new molecular biology and biotechnology techniques. So that happened during the time, for which there was a lot of funding available from Department of Ocean Development. So there are also a big program on drugs from the ocean. So this again has resulted in a very important activity for the Bhavanagar laboratory. So with all this, I had to leave very important time of the for the institute. They got into a new program. And one other important thing I would like to mention is the building in which CSIR started, CSMCRI, was a former guest house of the Maharaja of Bhavanagar. That was donated. but the building was somewhat old, and during the earthquake sometime, so there are a lot of cracks there. Even before that, there was plan to have a new building for the laboratory. So this was also planned when I was leaving. It's a lot of input from CSIR, and now they have an annex. The old building still remains because it's a beautiful building, old colonial structure. Whatever is not damaged in the earthquake, now they have an annex or a new building where they have all the new facilities and laboratories. So this all happened during my time when I was director there. I like to also mention here the important involvement of the Research Council chairman, particularly initially Dr. D.V.S. Jain, who was a professor of chemistry in Punjab University, who really was so helpful in bringing all the changes which I never understood many of these things. So Professor Jain was very helpful. And many of the things came during his time, particularly manpower induction. They have CSIR with Dr. Joshi as Director General was liberal in sanctioning manpower also. So during the time of Professor Jain as the RC chairman, we could recruit some very good people there. And then subsequently Professor Rajendra Kumar, a chemical engineer from Indian Institute of Science, with great support. He is a very towering personality, and he knows in and out the activities of these laboratories, many CSIR laboratories, and he spent several days in a year at CSMCRI, and that brought about a lot of change in the working habits and also in formulating projects in a better way. These are things I wanted to recall at this point of time when CSIR got such a very big award in terms of technology transfer. I also like to mention during my tenure, CSMCRI scientists, for their work, they had number of CSIR Young Scientist Awards, and before that I don't remember they had many awards, but that change was probably due to policy change in CSIR itself, that the scientists working there were given more freedom so that they can work with sponsored projects, taking students with a lot of relaxation in hiring. So this has changed the attitude, and we could get some very good scientists at CSMCRI during that time. One of the things I like to mention before closing, that Bhavanagar is a place where it is kind of takes a long time to travel, so that is a somewhat difficult situation for any induction of new scientists or even for a new director to join. But then during my time, CSIR has given so much help to me. I like to mention Dr. Dheer, who was director of Central Building Research Institute, and many support facilities from CSIR, so we could get many things done and make CSMCRI as a very important laboratory where they could also create new knowledge which could be used for the society. So this all happened when I was leaving, and all the directors who were there, Professor Taqi Khan, myself, now Professor Pushpito Ghosh, all these people were trained in the best laboratories in the world, so they know the conditions of not only science also technology all over the world, and how to make this lab somewhat diversify the areas and other things. So all of them contributed immensely, and I should congratulate the present director Pushpita Ghosh for all the efforts he has been put into the laboratory activities, because he had wide experience not only in US as a student and then as a postdoc in Buchanan National Laboratory. I met him there when I was there. Then he also had industrial experience working in this country in one of those ICI concerns. So Professor Ghosh also has brought a lot of new changes in the functioning of the institute. So CSMCRI is one of the leading laboratories of CSIR today, and I am sure they will be able to contribute more, particularly concentrating on marine resources, not only salt but also plants and other even animal resources. So I am very happy that I could send this message. Otherwise I would have come because I had some health conditions. So I will definitely wish all of you a very great 60th birthday. Sal Mubarak. The success of any national laboratory mainly depends upon the efforts and ingenuity put by the scientists and scientific staff working there. And I could see that quite a bit of input has come from the scientists. Because of the location of Bhavanagar, some very good scientists work there for 10 years or so, and then leave to other laboratories like National Chemical Laboratory or any other laboratory, IICT or CLRA. I think nothing can be done about this, but during that time, I know during my time we recruited Dr. Muthuswamy, who became a very good scientist, organic synthesis, and then of course he moved to academic area, and then Mohan Badbade, who was a crystallographer. In spite of putting a lot of input for him, he also decided to leave for Pune, NCL, and Darba Srinivas, and in fact there was a very good facility of electron spin resonance. So this somehow should stop, in my view. In fact, I told former NCL director Ratnasamy that why you are taking away our people so that they are more, so the laboratory loses them. Of course, he says now it's a competitive world. Hope that the conditions at CSMCRI should be such that once somebody comes there as scientists or scientific staff, they should remain there for many years. Of course, 10-15 years they are developed, they left some juniors so that they can take over. I also want to mention here that after leaving Bhavanagar, because I had to leave because this DST has put some 8 crore money to set up this center, so I feel that not only I could do something important in CSMCRI, but this Center for Ultra Fast Processes is the first center of this kind in the country. It's very important for many areas of applications, energy and other areas. In fact, we have all the facilities which are required in ultra fast spectroscopy, which are not available in most of the places. So people come here, work on their own, and in fact you could look at the website ncufp.org, so you get all the information. The service is free here. The scientists from almost all the universities and institutes come here. Of particular mention is our Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao sends his students, after calling Dr. Ramamurthy, who is a professor and director of the center now, that our measurements done here are very reliable. So Professor Rao sends his students for his measurements. So that way, leaving Bhavanagar, also although I like Bhavanagar, I like the people there, but this is an important contribution I had to make. And many of people now collaborating also with CSMCRI scientists. So this is the way we have been able to do the academic and industry collaboration. Even in Bhavanagar, when I was there, we had strong interaction with Gujarat University and Bhavanagar University, and also the Atira Textile Research Institute. So it was such linkages should be built wherever these institutes are there in CSIR or Department of Science and Technology. So I would like to express not only my heartfelt thanks. It's an emotional thing. So having spent 5 or 6 years in a place where Krishna lived, Mahatma Gandhi was born there, because we have also visited the Saurashtra coast, and we have been to Kirti Mandir where Mahatma Gandhi was born. We had been to Dwaraka a couple of times. We also had been seen Somnath, where the earlier temple was destroyed and then Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel built a new temple. So this is the experience we never forget. So this way I am happy that this 60th birthday is just like our birthday of our kin. So I wish all of you very good time during this time. I look forward to a time when I can come there and spend some time with you. God bless you.
Our namaskarams to all of you at CSMCRI, Bhavanagar. Me and my husband, Dr. P Natrajans, are very happy to be here with you at the 60th anniversary of CSMCRI Bhavanagar. We spent a very happy, peaceful and nice time at Bhavanagar. We stayed there almost 6 years, and we had a very pleasant memories about CSMCRI. First of all, I came from a very different place that is totally different from Bhavanagar. Language, culture and the distance also very long. But still, from the day one I came, everybody was very courteous and very generous, and they were very helpful in keeping a family there, and people were very nice to me. And we almost stayed most of the time in the guest house, and the scientists and their wife and their family were great support for me. Myself, my 2 children were there, and even though Sir was very busy in his work, I can just walk into anybody's house and chat for a time, and they used to be very courteous and very happy, and they used to give their hospitality was very good. So it was very nice time, and it was very fruitful for the lab and for my husband also. And we had few trips to Dwaraka and Somnath and different places, and all that was a very rich memory in my mind. And always I will remember the Dandiya dance and the Dasara time and the beautiful place. It is really a beautiful and very peaceful place. I used to really enjoy the nature there, the birds, the squirrels, the sound of the peacock. All that is a very great memory for us. We still have some beautiful photographs of the CSMCRI and the nature we got in our camera. We wish a very good and very prosperous time for the lab and all the scientists there. And I always keep very great memory about Bhavanagar, and we wish a very great success for the lab.